Welcome, collectors and hobby enthusiasts. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Diecast Emporium. Today I'm going to be reviewing two link belt excavator models in 1:50 scale. The 490 X4 is on the left, which is a larger excavator, and you have the much smaller, reduced tail swing excavator, the 140 X4, that is on your right. So both of these models come in similar link belt packaging, as you can see. Both of them have pictures of the model on the side. And on the back, you can see that they have pictures of both machines working. This is a toy, not recommended for children under the age of 18, made in PRC, which is the People's Republic of China. And nowhere on any part of these models does it say who the actual manufacturer is. For example, like NZG or Motor Art or whatever, there's no identifying factor there as to who makes these. So we will first go ahead and focus in on the 145X, and you may be wondering why I don't have this in the box so that we can unbox it. This model, and you'll see why here in a minute, this one came completely damaged from UPS, the shipper, and it required a fair amount of repair work just to get it in a respectable condition for this review. So I did not want to put it back in the package and have, chance anything else falling off of it. But there is the box, and inside is a slip of paper which just shows you how to put the mirrors and stuff on. There are 4 separate mirrors. They are mounted on a little spruce that you have to separate with an X-Acto knife or a hobby knife. Not that difficult to do. However, mine had... we look at it here. Mine had the hand and grab rail right here, completely separated in 2 pieces. The aerial broken off of it. There's a couple paint chips that are obvious, which you can't really do anything to fix those. The hydraulic line was completely separated from the stick, and the track was partially severed as well. So there was a lot of work that needed to be done to get this thing in the review. Honestly, I am not impressed at all with the build quality nor the functionality of this model. So bear that in mind as we go forward with the review. Now, yours may have no issues with it, but by measure of full transparency, that is what the issues that I had with mine. So here are the... and allow me just a second here to grab my pointer so you can get a better indication of what I'm trying to explain. So you have this mirror here, and again, it's a little bit hard to see. This mirror here, and then these two on the right side of the machine. Those are what are on the spruce that you have to really separate it from. Those are a plastic piece. They mount onto the hand and grab rails. Good luck doing that. Honestly, the issue is that the mounting piece is, again, maybe this is only an issue on mine, but the issue is they were too fat and they don't lock properly on to the hand and grab rails. So I always say I hate gluing things on models, especially when they're not designed to be glued. They're just designed to lock into position. But to avoid literally hours of aggravation, you may want to, if you choose to purchase one of these, you may want to consider gluing it. Because as soon as you get one on and then you go to put the second one on, it'll pop right off, and again, you're just in for several hours of irritation, and it's honestly just not worth it. Again, I mentioned the pieces that were missing, or not missing, but were separated from the model and damaged. Over here, and it's a little bit hard to pick up on camera, but there's a very noticeable paint chip here. There is a paint chip underneath here. This is where the tracks were separated. Just not a very good look. So, on to the functionality. Everything on this model, it gives me the impression that something's about ready. If you overdo it, something's about ready to snap off on it. It's not a very workable mechanism on it. These cylinders are very, very... I'll use the word fragile, because that's what they feel to me. Also, the bucket right here, your curl comes into there, which that could be a lot better. This is what it looks like when it's tucked in all the way. And you can't really bring it down any farther, at least on that side, and that's because you have the dozing blade right here. So obviously a way around that is to rotate the machine, like so. But again, there's a lot of exposed cylinder here, and it doesn't give you an indication that it wants to go down farther without overdoing it and possibly breaking something. For the detail on this one, I'll give credit where credit's due. The actual hydraulic line here, after I got it reattached, does look good. It has more of a springy style hose to it rather than being a rubber line. So that is a pretty cool look to it. You have different colors and styles of hydraulic lines and the connections going up all through here, as well as down here. You have your camera right here. Some warning labels on the counterweight. There's another paint chip that I didn't notice until right now. Yeah, so also on your track frames, you have some decals for what I presume what is likely some tie-down points for a trailer or a lowboy. On this side of your bucket, you have small Phillips head screws. So if you really wanted to, you could separate the bucket with a Phillips screwdriver. But again, honestly, I would not recommend that based on the build quality of this particular model. The tracks, I would say, are a composite material between plastic and metal. They certainly are not fully metal. That's very obvious. And they will move by touch, but they don't work very well on a smooth surface or really even a surface with friction. So there you go, guys. So that is a review of the Link-Belt 145X4. I know that there's and I have several friends in the community who are big fans of these reduced tail swing or zero tail swing confined space excavators. So there will be a lot of people that buy this just for that. But honestly, it is not a very expensive model. However, even at the $69 price point plus the shipping, which I think is an additional $10, I don't believe that this model is really worth that. Especially, and I can tell you right now, if yours comes in the condition that mine came in, you will not be happy. But there it is. So that is my honest review of the Link-Belt one. Do I think it's as good as the Diecast Masters Cat? I believe it's the 335F. That's Cat's reduced tail swing excavator in 1/50th scale. Honestly, no. I think that's a lot more functional. It may not have the level of the hydraulic line detail, but that is a lot more functional and durable model than this one. But again, it's really kind of up to you. So now we will transition to the full unboxing and review of this one, and my opinion changes dramatically here. So this is the 490X4, which is a large excavator, and I believe that this is set up in a mass excavator configuration. This is a much better and more high-quality build model. I don't know if this is a newer model or if these were released at the same time. Again, certainly not an expert on Link-Belt products. We'll take a look real quick again at the back of the box. I do have to say I love this. And this is something that should appear on every single one of our scale models, because I'm so tired of getting messages from people who buy these for their kids and then them breaking and then it somehow being my fault, which I'd love to show you guys the inbox messages I get on Instagram that that's somehow my fault. Anyway, I digress. This is not a toy. It is not intended for children under the age of 18. That's the part I was going on about. That should be on every model. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed, and I'll show you that this is a much, much better offering from Link-Belt. And again, these opinions are my own. So obviously, you don't have to agree with them. Here is the slip of paper that I said was with the other one, and this shows you where to put the mirrors for this particular one. And, oh, I did fail to mention, by the way, on the link belt one, even the instructional sheet said that it was a Sumitomo excavator. So I don't know if they just bought a bunch of those and repainted them in link belt. Heck, I don't even know if the real ones in real life are the same as the Sumitomo ones. But either way, you can obviously tell the corners were cut there. So in here, I've already put them on the model, but there's also a piece here, a screw here, which I presume is an extra for the bucket if you wanted to switch that out. Come on out. Don't be shy. There we go. So here it is. So this has 3 mirrors for assembly that you have to do. One that fits here on the side of the grab rail on the cab, and then 2 additional ones that you can position. I positioned them according to what the directions said. One here and one here. Again, plastic pieces that mount to plastic grab rails. So not always a great fit. However, these seem to fit much, much better than they did on the 145. Alright, so the high quality of the hydraulic line detail continues on this model. So that's not anything different. And you can see again, going down to the swing motor and up all of your important pieces that you would need on an excavator. This one has the protection structure on the cab, the falling object protection structure, which I like. The tracks on this one are made of the same material that they are on the other one, and this one, the tracks also roll a little bit better on this one, but they still won't roll on a smooth surface such as this. One observation that I made, just based off of the photos on the real box and some other photos that I Googled before doing this video, these tracks seem way, way too thin for this model. Again, I'm not sure if that's showing up very, very well, but for a machine of this size, the tracks seem very, very skinny. On the back, you have, again, your link belt, your camera, some nice decal work here. Moving on towards the functionality. This one has just about the same functionality as the other one does. If anything, it's slightly better. So all of the ranges that you'd want work really well on here, including a good dig depth, with only a little bit of the cylinder still being exposed, right there. And this heavy-duty metal bucket really holds up well. So although the plastic cylinder jacket looks like it might be a little weak, and that is important to note that the cylinder jackets here are a little bit off color in terms of the top on here and the bottom here compared to the red. And the difference in color is very noticeable in person. So that is important. But again, it's a red plastic piece versus a red metal piece. Your bucket, 5-tooth bucket, wear plating detail here. Overall, I'd say it's a decent model. This one on their website, I believe I paid $130 for, which is a bit steep. But again, if you are into link belt excavators and or large excavators, this one is okay value for the money. You know where I stand on the 140, 145. So let's see how these two look on a lowboy. Let's bring the lowboy out here. Now the 145 you can get away with on a tag trailer in most states. Definitely not the 490, obviously. So let's go ahead and put the 145 on the lowboy, and you'll see how that looks. So there you go. Not too bad. Looks pretty respectable on there. And next we will go ahead and fold up the 490. And this lowboy does not have any of the outrigger beams extended on it, so the model just sits on there. And there you go. So there you have it, collectors. That is a quick review of both the Link-Belt 490 X4 and the Link-Belt 145 X4 excavators in 1:50 scale. Certainly both ends of the spectrum in terms of my opinion on these. If you had to buy just one, and say you have a ton of excavators in your collection, but you don't have a Link-Belt and you want to add one of them to your collection, definitely go with this one. This is just the evil stepchild. Nothing good came of that one for me, unfortunately. So I did contact Link-Belt. I am currently waiting to hear back. I asked them if they would be, in the email, if they would be willing to send me a new one that isn't damaged and a shipping label, and I would send the damaged one back to them. But as of the filming of this video, I have not heard back from them, so I will update you on that story as it develops. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Stay safe and take care.